Hey my fellow addicts, what is up? Welcome back to the channel as we do our continuation of our top 100 golf balls for 2025. All right, so we just got done with 89 through 80. We're starting to kind of weed out of the blah and kind of get into the okay. And here we go. We are looking at 79 through 70. So let's just kind of get right into it here. Also, real quick, a lot of you came forward from the last video. I talked about how the Rapsodo ML-M2 Pro launch monitor, about how there was a contest. I'm giving one away for free in partnership with Rapsodo. Guys, seriously, so many people have now come forward and entered that contest. I'm really glad that you got the opportunity to. So if you still haven't, find that video on there. All you got to do is make sure you're following Rapsodo, me, and comment your favorite Christmas movie. It's a short I did. You can go to YouTube, Instagram, whatever, and find the short. It's just a couple shorts back, but that's the title, is Win a Launch Monitor. You'll see it. So comment on there. That'll enter you in the contest. Maybe you'll win it. Who knows? It'd be a nice little gift for sure. You can get a little mini home simulator in your backyard. Who doesn't want that? All right. So let's start, of course, with number 79, which is the Top Flight Bomb. Again, another golf ball that was designed as a long drive. It's extremely firm. It's extremely hard. I know they came out with a new model of it. I do want to test that eventually. I'll test it in 25, but the reality is I just don't have a lot of motivation to test golf balls that are designed for 120-mile-an-hour swingers, especially a Top Flight brand. I mean, the reality is, what golfer that is 120-mile-an-hour swing speed and is good enough to keep it in the fairway, what golfer is going to be like, you know what, I play the Top Flight Bomb. It's my go-to golf ball. It just doesn't even sound right. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It makes zero sense. I don't know. I just don't think there's really a market here for it. I think Top Flight did it to try to get some publicity and get like their golf ball's name out there because they signed that partnership deal for 1 year, but that deal only lasted, I think, 1 year, and I think there's a reason why. Like, Top Flight has its place. Don't get me wrong. Top Flight makes some really, the Gamer, you're going to see it really high on this list. But this golf ball is so firm that, I mean, numbers were just basically garbage. And a lot of you came forward at the time, this was 4 years ago, but at the time came forward and said things like, you know, oh, hey, noodle arms, it's for fast swingers. Okay, well, that may be the case. But like I've talked about in the other two videos, golf balls that are for really fast swingers like that, this isn't really this is a niche market, and there's just too many of them. At number 78, we have the Spalding SD Tour. Now, this one was kind of a big disappointment. It was actually nominated this year for Biggest Disappointment, and that's mainly because a lot of you over the years have been requesting this golf ball. It was $20 a dozen for 3-piece urethane. A lot of you were like, hey, test it. I've got really good results with it. It might be awesome. Again, it's not that the numbers were horrendous. They weren't. They were just slightly below average in every single category. It's very firm. It definitely is tour-like for sure. The price point's hard to beat. $20 a dozen. You can also get them for $15 a dozen. And at the time of my review about a month ago, you could get them for $10 a dozen at PGA Superstore. I don't know if they're just trying to get rid of them or what, but that's insane. So the value is incredible, but the performance just really wasn't there. I didn't get anything that was eye-opening. You know, I'm not a big fan of the feel. It does feel like a traditional 90s tour golf ball. So if you like that, good for you. Maybe it'll work. But for me, I like more of the soft, explosive, squishy. Not my cup of tea. Wish there had been something a little bit better. But you know what? It did get to 79 because of the value, so good for it. I didn't like the logo, but a lot of you apparently did. Apparently there was a lot of nostalgia there. You really liked that. I'm not really a fan, but hey, it is what it is. So good thing that the value is there, because durability, performance, everything else, not so much. At number 77, we have the Diawings Max Distance Golf Ball. Now this one, I love to use this golf ball as an example, right? Because it's an example of when you're direct to consumer of what not to do, right? And I know this is gonna sound bad. I actually love the Diawings golf ball. I got sent these a year or two ago, something like that. And I got them in the mail. I looked at them. They were kind of interesting. They had different colors, definitely an interesting vibe. Got like this diamond kind of rod alignment tool, unique, different. But what I really noticed is the second I put one down and hit it, my eyes lit up. I went, wow. I mean, this thing had explosive distance, explosive feel. Not a lot of spin, but you know what? For a forgiving two-piece model, it really did well. It held its own. driver distance, 5 hybrid distance, 7 iron distance, just exploded off. I loved how much forgiveness it had, even though it was a little firmer than most traditional two-piece golf balls. But it held up to its name. Max distance, it really had that. Well, if that's the case, why is it so low? Well, mainly because of the price point. I mean, it does look pretty cheap, and that's kind of a hit on the design, but really what comes into play here is that these golf balls, yeah, you're seeing that right. That is almost $40 a dozen for a two-piece model. It's like 36 or something like that for a dozen. The reality is that, and this is the example. I said a while ago that I use this as an example on the channel all the time. If I have 2 golf balls and one's $36 a dozen, that's a two-piece, and it has explosive distance, and I have another one that's $10 a dozen and it has explosive distance, which one am I going to recommend to you? The $10 one, because it's $10. Why on earth would I recommend the $36 one when it does nothing better than the $10 one does? And that's why price and value matter. So that's the big issue with Daiwa. Amazing golf ball, love it, but you got to find a way to decrease that price. You just do. I mean, I can't recommend that type of price to anybody. At number 76, we have the Quantix F35. So I did touch on the Quantix F18 a couple videos ago. What really sets the F35 apart is it actually does have some pretty explosive distance, and I remember, you know, watching Tour Experience Golf one time when they tested it, they actually did get longer distance numbers with that golf ball opposed to the Pro V1. They were actually very impressed with it as far as the distance goes. It's loud. It's clicky. It feels like something out of the depths of hell from the 90s. Like, it is so firm. It is so loud. If you have like a 90s ping driver or a 2000s ping driver compared with this golf ball, I think it would break your eardrums. I think it legit would just shatter them into pieces. It's not my cup of tea. The reality is that it's still a decent value at around $38, $35. I think it's like $35, $34 a dozen. So it's not bad, but it just doesn't do anything really that well. And I think it's designed for a very, very fast swinger, just like the F18 Tour was, which I didn't understand because you have the F18 Tour, it's for fast swingers. Make a more forgiving, you know, value ball. Don't go with another firmer Tour, clicky, loud. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And because of that, unfortunately, there's just nothing that great about it, and that's why it ends up in the 70s. But I give it little bonus points, though, because that test from TXG Golf was pretty impressive, and even they were kind of flabbergasted by it. But I don't know if you've ever seen their video, but they're like in a closed room, and when they hit the golf ball, it almost like was a war scene in a movie, you know, where it goes, it's like slow motion, and a grenade went off. Like, that's what it was like. It was crazy. At number 75, we have the Callaway Warbird. So this is an interesting one. I have had some people come forward and tell me they really like this ball. It's not my cup of tea. I actually believe it's for firmer swingers. And the reason I say that is because I didn't feel like I was compressing it that much the entire time I was using it. I felt like something was a little off. So a lot of my distance numbers were either just okay or not that great. But once I got to the driver, I actually got okay to good distance numbers, which is interesting. That's usually a telltale sign. But it is a two-piece distance golf ball. There's nothing really outstanding about it. I like that they redid the alignment tool. That looks really nice as well. But one thing I really got to give the Warbird credit for was its spin. I mean, the 50-yard spin. Remember, this is a two-piece golf ball, but to have 7,800 RPM spin with 50-yard pitch, incredible, great number. Then to turn around and have really good 7-iron, 5 hybrid, you know, driver spin. The spin's really good. Like, it's not for my swing speed, but if you do fit into the swing speed of the Warbird, which I think is a little faster, you know, two-piece golf ball, not a long drive golf ball, but, you know, faster swing speed. I think it'd be good for someone who swings like 105 or something like that, but just needs a forgiving, keep it in play ball. I think it does a lot of things really well. I think Callaway kind of has an underrated dark horse here, but from the average swinger's perspective, I don't see a lot of pop, I don't see a lot of there, and that's why it's there. But if you are that faster swing crowd that maybe likes, I don't know, the Maxfli Straight Fly or something like that, it's worth a shot. And if you do try it, please let me know your feedback, because there's still a lot of unknown when it comes to the Warbird, and I want to know more. So please chime in, but I don't know, Callaway might be onto something there. At number 74, we have The Titleist Pro V1X. Now, some of you will be surprised if you're new to the channel about this. Why is this golf ball so low? Again, you got to remember, average swing perspective, right? Now, the Pro V1 actually isn't all that bad. They have softened it up quite a bit for the average swing crowd, so it does perform a little better. You'll see it higher on this list. But the X model's definitely firmer. It's firmer. Now, does it spin a ton? Oh, baby. Does it go really far with the driver? Absolutely, it sure does. But you got to keep in mind of something. Forgiveness is at an all-time low here. So this is a golf ball as an average swinger. You close the face a little too much, you open a little too much, you're a fair way over. I mean, there's no forgiveness there. This is a golf ball intended for some of the best swingers in the world that can bend the golf ball at will. Yes, you do get that rip back, but you also get that side spin. So you hit it off the inside a little, your fade turns into a mild slice, if you know what I mean. So it's not very forgiving. I lost a ton of distance because, again, I was punished on mishits. I'm not a fan of how firm it is. For the fast swinger crowd, yeah, this is a tour ball that probably competes right up there with PXG and Callaway and Srixon and all the, you know what I mean? Like, it's probably one of the best. It's a standard for a reason. I get that. But from the average swing perspective, please stay away from this golf ball. It is so unforgiving. It is so punishing on mishits. It's for a scratch golfer. It just is. It's for, I mean, maybe if you're a 3 or 4 handicap, you can get away with it. If you're a good ball striker, maybe putting's your issue or something, maybe you can get away with it. But this is for the elite crowd. No questions asked. At number 73, we have the Chrome Tour X. So again, everything we just touched on with, the Pro V1X, it pretty much translates over here to this. Very firm, very unforgiving. It's for fast swingers. Don't try it if you're an average swinger. I was really disappointed with how low of spin I got from the Chrome Tour X. I think it's because I just wasn't compressing it fully. I've had other people tell me, well, no, it spins quite a bit, but I didn't experience that because it never felt like I even halfway compressed this thing. It just was too firm. Now you might ask, okay, why does it get the nod ahead of the Pro V1? Well, this is gonna sound silly, but it is the designs. It does have the 360 alignment tool. It's great for putting. It's great for chipping. It's great for practicing, feedback, all that stuff. It's that type of golf ball, so I've gotten a little more used to them, but the reality is, average swing perspective, just stay away from a lot of these X golf balls. Not all of them, but this one in particular, it's just too firm, so stay away. But as you can see from the numbers there's nothing worth talking about. Even the driver numbers, which I hoped would be good, weren't, so it is what it is. But it does actually, at the time, Callaway does have a little bit of a value increase because you can buy 4 boxes, you buy 3, excuse me. You buy 3 boxes, you get the 4th for free. So that actually is a decent deal that they run all the time. So it has a little edge over Titleist, but honestly, not by much. At number 72, we have the Titleist Tour Soft. Now, this is an interesting golf ball because it is a 2-piece golf ball model and it's priced at almost $40 a dozen. We'll touch on that in just a second, but let's start with some of the good. So, as a soft 2-piece golf ball, it does some things well. For example, the 9-iron performance, good. Actually above my average. I love to see that. The 7-iron, good, above my average. But once I got into the 5 hybrid, I started to overcompress it. You could see by the numbers, the spin was really, really low. The launch angle was all wonky. At that point, my swing speed was just too much for it. Then you get into the driver and same thing, lost massive distance with the driver. It is definitely Titleist's version of probably their super soft version, right? And so it does get a higher because the numbers are pretty good. So if you're someone who is looking for a super soft model and you want, that Titleist name and backing, cool. Make sure you're rich because I'm sorry, that $40 price tag, that $38, $39 a dozen price tag for a 2-piece golf ball, that's a 1 out of 10 on the value score. That's the worst value score you can get. And we talked about it in previous balls. Anytime you have a 2-piece model, $25 is about the limit. It really is. It's about the limit. This golf ball's not urethane. It's a Iometer Surlyn blend. It's Titleist's proprietary plastic blend, which is fine. But at $40 a dozen, are you kidding me? Like, there's too many other golf balls. I mean, you could buy 2 dozen of Snell and basically for the same price. You might think if you buy them in 2 dozen, like $23 a piece or something like that. Like, it just makes zero sense to buy this golf ball at this price point because, again, it's not that it's bad. It's probably pretty decent, but when you have decent golf ball, or even if you have good golf ball, really good golf ball, and good golf ball, really good golf ball, but $40 and $10, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it just makes no sense. So Titleist, Love what you did with the golf ball. Fix that price. Come on. It doesn't take, you can't increase the price by $15 a dozen because, well, you know, our process and our, you know, the way we do it is very meticulous and detail oriented. Okay, fine. Increase it $1 or $2, but come on. Easy now. At number 71, we have the Trust Bison Power X. These golf balls I tested very recently, and I'll be honest with you, I like them both. They're both fantastic golf balls. You haven't seen the V Power yet because the V is actually for my swing speed, so as you can tell, it got higher ratings. But here's the thing about the X, right, is the X is for faster swingers. These are around $35 to $40 a dozen for a, you know, 3-piece urethane golf ball. They have like this glitter coating that's really cool. A lot of people seem to really like it because the visibility is really high. I've grown to like it more and more as I see it. It has an awesome alignment tool. The design is unique. It has explosiveness off the club. It feels great, but the reality is because it's an X golf ball, yeah, I didn't get the most out of it with performance. But you know what? That's okay. If you're someone who is a fast swinger and you're looking at this golf ball and you're like, I don't know whether to try it, try it. Trust me, you can't go wrong. The value is there. The numbers are there. A lot of people really like it. I've spoken with people who've tried it. They love it. It has some uniqueness about it. It's easy to see in the grass despite what time of the year it is. I love that about it. It comes in, I think, a yellow version as well. They impressed me. They really did. I love what Trust did this year with their new model of this lineup, and I highly recommend it. It's just unfortunate that this one fell just because it's not for my swing speed, but if you're a faster swing speed, definitely give it a try. And at number 70, we have the Srixon Z-Star Diamond. So the Z-Star Diamond kind of has officially become my favorite Srixon ball, which is kind of sad because I have no business playing it and I have no business using it. But it's the only golf ball that I legit look at and say, okay, who is this golf ball intended for? Okay, pros, you know, it was made for Brooks Koepka. Okay, cool. Does it do that? Oh yeah, it does that really well. It's extremely bendable. It has a great feel to it. Despite being firm, it has a really good, awesome, just small click. I love how it feels coming off the club. I do lose distance with it. That's unfortunately why it ends up at 70, but the reality is if you're a fast swinger and you're looking for a good tour ball, this one does a pretty good job. They have it in the Divide models now. They have all kinds of, you can get it in yellow for high visibility. The reality is this golf ball actually is really good, even for scratch golfers, even for high, talent, low handicap players. This is a golf ball that a lot of people underlook. I know I have a couple people I work with that play this golf ball. They really like it a lot. They enjoy it. It's a good golf ball. It really is. It just doesn't fit my swing speed, unfortunately. Guys, that is 79 through 70. I appreciate it. We next will have 69 through 60. We continue to work on. I appreciate you watching. Keep saving, keep learning. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.